Here we are again, happy as can be, all good fun and a jolly good cup of tea. Hello and welcome back. It's been about 2 weeks. 2 weeks of normal food and normal cooking that aren't necessarily very Instagrammable or YouTubeable. Right, as promised in the previous video, if you don't want to listen to me waffle, fast forward to about the 2-minute mark. So thank you. Bye, you people. Hello, people who want to. Normal food isn't necessarily filmable, so I wait until I've got something that's worth discussing. And today's discussing is a South African dish called a bobotie. It's spelt as if you'd say Bobotie, but I think it's Bobotie or something like that. I'll look it up. It's a South African dish. It's a mince dish. It's a crossroads of, or a fusion, I guess you want to call it, of different dishes from around the world. It's a little bit keema, the Indian dish. It's a little bit moussaka, the Greek dish. It's a little bit fruity. It's a little bit sour. It's a little bit creamy. It's very, very interesting. A very good friend of mine said, have a go. And I did, and it's really good. I've made this a little richer than some of the traditional recipes, but we'll see how we go with that. Anyway, thank you for coming back. I'm still messing around with working out how to do video editing, so this could be flashy or not. I've got Final Cut Pro, and I'm old, so could turn out to be anything. Anyway, thank you for coming back. Like and subscribe. I think I'm going to say that at the start of the video this time. But, let's get on with it. Let's go. And what is on today's board of goodness? Many things. This is quite a complicated recipe. We begin with the mince. I've chosen lamb mince this time because I actually prefer lamb to beef. It's got, I think there's a depth of flavour there. Probably about 1.5 kilos of that. So 2 onions, 3 garlic cloves, the zest and juice of a lemon, a tin of tomato paste, a sprinkle of oregano, a jar of the best chutney you can find, some apricot conserve or jam, 3 eggs, that's going to be part of the topping. So is milk. I think it was a 2.5 big cups of milk, 3 standard slices of white bread. Not sure if a better bread would make any difference, I'm not sure. My spice tin of loveliness we've got coming, and turmeric, and then curry powder. Don't like curry powder. I don't tend to use it in dishes. I like to, my own spice blends. If you use curry powder, everything tastes pretty much exactly the same. Every Asian dish tastes like curry powder. But every recipe that I looked at for this said use curry powder. So off we go. Next, bread. 3 slices, normal white. As I said a second ago, I'm not sure if a better bread would improve this recipe because of the very nature of the fact that it makes the layer on the top. I think this sort of cheapish, whitish, breadish kind of works. And so we soak that, tear it into pieces and soak it in about 3/4 cup of milk. Get it in there, get your fingers in there, have a good squish. I love that. The therapeuticness of a good squish. And next, I do promise that many videos coming up will not start with frying of onions. I do. Onions seem to be the blank canvas of so many dishes, particularly anything Asian. But there's quite a few European ones that start with a good onion as well. But anyway, fry the onions in a little oil. Brown them. Enjoy the smell of the frying onions. Get the garlic in there as the onions brown. Don't put the garlic in too early because garlic burns. So do the browning, then the garlicking. And I'd forgotten I'm going to have to get a new light for my video camera because this one, if you bring anything near, just goes and bleaches it out. So anyway, that was garlic in that white dish. Throwing in there. Right, now the curry powder that I was talking about. I think this was quite a weak curry powder, So most of the recipes talked about 2 teaspoons of curry powder. I ended up putting in 4 because, like I said, I don't know if this particular brand is weaker than others, but it just didn't. I've tried this before and it just didn't work. So when we go with a spoon of turmeric and a spoon of cumin, and this is going to really start tasting quite heady. All of those spicy, all sort of, up your nose. Nose is just a wonderful thing to have in the kitchen when you're cooking things like this, because your nose is just going, your taste buds are one thing because you're going to keep tasting, but it's your nose that's going to go, yes. Anyway, yes, stir the spices, add a little bit of water, because as soon as you put the powdered spices into the oil in the onions, it's going to dry the oil out quickly and it'll start burning if you don't be careful. So a little bit of water in there. Stir rapidly, and now the tomato paste. Small tin of, or a tube of if you haven't got a tin, and get all that in there. And again, that's going to need another little bit of water, and you're going to keep stirring that until it creates this sort of tomatoey, oniony sauce when we move to the next stage. Oh, now you have the tomatoes in a kind of creamy, soupy, pasty sort of base, ready for the mince. I said before, I think it was about 1.5 kilos. Actually, looking at that bag, it's probably more like 2 kilos. There's quite a lot of mince in there. So slowly start putting it in so it doesn't splash everywhere. But as you'll notice when you're throwing it in, yeah, no, I haven't got it everywhere. Normally, you've seen my recipes before, stuff goes everywhere. Probably will even more so as this recipe goes any longer. Anyway, get the mince in there, start chopping it up, because it's in clumps and it will take a while to declump. It's probably about 5 or so minutes to declump, and keep stirring. You need to make sure that it cooks through properly. I think this is going to go for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes to get to here. That's starting to look really nice and part cooked. What's next? Oh yes, the lemon, and I'm going to make a complete mess of this by dropping one of the pips in there. Haha, rescue the pip. Squeeze the I need to get a lemon squeezer or something like that, or do it with my hand like I'm doing at the moment. And then going to grate the zest of the lemon. I think in this video I only did just a little bit, but you want to go all the way around that lemon, get as much zest in there as possible. I do love lemon zest, actually probably even more so than lemon juice. Lemon zest adds a real kind of thing. So another few minutes, and then we're going to go into with our chutney. Get the best chutney you can. The better the chutney, the better the dish. This is a spiced pear and apple chutney, a finest one on Tesco's range, I think it was, but a beautiful chutney. This just adds something. And then we're going to go in with a small teaspoon or 2 of apricot jam. So we're getting this spiciness, this heat, this richness, this gorgeousness. The lamb is bringing its own thing to the table, although quite a lot of fat, as you can see there. You might want to get the fat out, some of the fat out at some point. And then after the apricot jam, we're going to be giving it 10 minutes of stirring. Right, stirry. Push the pan over into the corner, off the heat, turn the heat down. And then find out how to wiggle the camera around so you can see more of what I'm doing, because I'm wiggling my pan over there somewhere. Yes, pull the camera out. It'd be nice if you got one of those automatic focusy things. Oh, here's stuff going on. Or I had an entire camera crew. I don't. It's just me and a tripod and my iPhone. So, pull the camera focus out. All of the mince into the oven dish. So I've got a really big oven dish. as you can see here. So the mince only ended up being about an inch and a half deep. If you have a smaller oven dish, you get a more thickness of mince. It's entirely up to you. I like my big oven dish. I think it works. And now put the bread, your milk soaked bread, across the top. Another diversion. Some of the recipes only call for one slice of bread soaked in milk, and then put it along the top. As you can see by the fact that I'm putting mine in and it's almost covering everything, that for me is what should work. I'm not sure that one piece of bread just sparsely put over really adds to anything, so 3 pieces of bread. Then the eggs, again, a lot of recipes only go for 1 egg with the milk. I've gone for 3 eggs because it changes the nature of the covering. I think it's richer, it's creamier. But yeah, I'm actually genuinely be interested to taste this in the very, very traditional sense, with 1 egg, 1 cream, 1 piece of bread. Yeah, I like the way I've done it, to be honest. I don't know if it's substantially different to the traditional, but I like the way I've done it. Add salt and pepper to your milk and eggs to taste, as always with salt and pepper. And now pour it all over the top of your mince and bread, and slowly, so it doesn't go all over the place. Yeah, I don't think I actually juggled anything in this. Oh yes, it all went in properly without splashing all over the place. So that now has to go into the oven at 170 degrees for about 30 minutes. So my 30 minutes turned out to be this nice brown crust that I'm showing you here. A number of the photos that I've seen from the traditional recipes, the crust is still quite white and it's only just cooked milk and eggs. I slightly prefer my way. I think that slight browning of that milky egginess just adds something to it. Again, I'll be fascinated to taste the traditional recipe. And I guess one day I will go to South Africa and get it tasted in situ, which tends to be where, you get the real sense of what a dish is about. I like my dish. You may not be able to call it a traditional Bobotie, but it is Mark's Bobotie, and I like it, and it tasted absolutely wonderful. The spiciness, the fruitiness, the souriness, and then that wonderful golden crust on top of it. I really, really like this. There's a few things I would do maybe differently next time. Maybe that sort of a smaller casserole dish with the greater depth of the mince. But there's nothing wrong with this. It's gorgeous. And you can see on the plate there that it looks moussaka-ish, but you've got these wonderful different tastes and sensations going with it. Anyway, thank you for following so far. Do the like and subscribe, and there is more to come. Thank you again. Humbly. Take care. Bye-bye.